Hi, Mitchell Levy, global credibility expert. Welcome to this episode of Dear Credibility Expert. I've got one question, and I'm going to riff on that one question. And let me turn my head before I turn off my glasses. It is my biggest challenge on credibility is not having a PhD. I have so many credentials and so much experience. I know I don't need it, though it still tugs at me. I've only found one that it's close to the fit I want. I want to do this. I want to do that. I'd like to do this. I'd like to do that. So, so here we go. You know, if you're in a field, you're in a profession where there is a requirement for a base level of knowledge, lawyers, doctors, dentists, but you do need continuous education and you need somebody to keep track. In the PhD field, in having a PhD, there are definitely professions where it is absolutely required that you have that in order to get the job, in order to have the knowledge, in order to have the skill set that's required, at least at a base level. Okay, let's put that aside. Now let's talk about reality. If you went to a doctor, and you went to a doctor who's fresh out of school and is up to speed on everything going on and could tell you all the textbook things to do, but it's their first, week after going through all their internships versus someone who's worked with thousands of patients. And when you ask a question and the first doctor says, this is what the book says. And the second doctor says, I've done this 100 times. This is what'll happen. Who do you like? Who do you trust? Who do you feel more comfortable with? Who do you feel is more credible? Let's go to 550 interviews of people who are talking to me about their credibility. And the third question that I ask is, how do you have credibility to do what you do? Now, out of 550 people, there were a handful who started off with, I got the degrees in blah, blah, blah. There were a handful who I didn't do the interview with because I just didn't feel they were credible enough. They just didn't have that base knowledge. They weren't able to tie together the 5 questions in such a way that it felt comfortable. Comfortable, not just to me, but comfortable to them, because the goal of having this interview is that they shine. And if you can't shine, why do the interview? And of the 550, almost everyone talked about their PhD in the School of Hard Knocks, their PhD in experience, their PhD in learning, growing. One of the benefits of getting a PhD, of going to school, and there are people who just really love going to school and they love learning that way, is there's a structured approach to learning. Now, every piece of knowledge that you want that's available on this planet is now available through, I don't have my phone in my pocket. I was going to hold up my phone. If you don't need the structured knowledge that a traditional program can provide you, and you were interested in learning, let's take a classic example. You want to learn how to create a good, compelling LinkedIn profile. Well, go to YouTube. Type in how to create a great LinkedIn profile. Allocate 8 hours. Watch 20 or 30 people talk about what does it mean to have a great LinkedIn profile. Take in all those points of views, synthesize that, and guess what? You're not the expert, but you have expertise. And then you start practicing it and you do it 1, 2, 5, 10, 20, 30 times. Guess what? You're the expert. Now, are you the expert or an expert? And it just depends on, where you're going to go and how much time you're going to spend, but you're going to be an expert in a space with your particular specialty. So do you need a PhD to be a successful practitioner of? And let's assume it's something that's not required for you to get that level of education. The answer is no, you don't. You should, however, and particularly if it's important to you, get that PhD in the School of Hard Knocks. Get that PhD in a way in which you can demonstrate to those people who are coming your way that you can do what you can do. And in today's world, given that we all have one of these cameras and they all have one of these microphones, do work for people or go to your past clients and get a video testimonial. I'm sitting here with a plethora. I got 420. I didn't think about it until I was well into the hundreds of video testimonials. And now I'm figuring out, okay, how do we structure these together and time together so that they can demonstrate? And there's such magic in terms of feedback that are on those testimonials. I ended up getting the Ph.D. in spending a little over a year of interviewing 500 people on a particular concept and spending all that energy and then documenting it and putting it into a particular format. So how is it documented? It's documented into a book form. It's documented, truthfully, it's now documented into what my life purpose is. So what's your life purpose? What is that you're focused on? What is that you're so passionate about? What is, in my words, the first question I ask in the interviews, what is your CPOP? What is your customer point of pain? 98% of people I interviewed needed support in identifying their CPOP. That is 98% of people needed clarity on who they served and the pain point they address. Are you hearing me? To me, it's amazing. So instead of worrying about getting a PhD so that you have the credibility, one more set of characters, why don't you identify who you serve and the pain point they serve, and then go ahead and start documenting, demonstrating, showing that that's what you do. And when you do that, and what happens is, if you know your CPOP, it is 1 to 10 words. It is 1 to 3 seconds. It is so short, it's memorable. If it's memorable, it's shareable. If it's shareable, people will talk about you. And if you then optimize your LinkedIn profile, you optimize your website around your CPOP, you're magnetizing that content. And if you magnetize that content, people who need to find you will find you. And when they get to your website or get to your LinkedIn profile, they're going to see that it's optimized around your CPOP, that customer point of pain, that who you serve and how you serve them. And it's going to be so compelling with the things that you've put out there. They're not going to say, hey, this person doesn't have a PhD. They're going to see that you have the PhD in the School of Hard Knocks. And I hope you find this useful. Looking forward to your comments and feedback, and ask additional questions. Click on the like button, share with your friends. We'll see you at the next episode. Thanks. Take care. Bye now.